Hello, this is Miss Harris here to talk about adding and subtracting fractions with different denominators. Let's talk about what we already know. When the denominators are the same, remember denominators, they are your bottom numbers. All we have to do is add the numerators. Numerators, those are your top numbers. So 1 plus 1, 2, and we keep the same denominator, 3. So our answer would be 2/3. If my answer came out to be 3/2, we cannot leave this because it is an improper fraction. Remember, your top cannot be bigger than the bottom number. So we divide to fix it because our fraction bar means to divide. We are going to write what we say. 3 divided by 2. 2 goes into 3 one time. 1 times 2, 2. Subtract 3 minus 2, 1. Remember that your remainder becomes your numerator and keep the same denominator. So our answer would be 1 and 1/2. Do not forget about that whole number. And when we get this type of answer, these are called mixed numbers because we have a whole number and a fraction. Okay, so that covers what we already know. So when our denominators are different, we have 3 and 5. We cannot add or subtract until they are the same. So let's fix it. Step 1, find the least common denominator. Means to make a list of multiples for each denominator given. Our denominators are 3 and 5. So multiples, they are the answers that we get when we multiply numbers together. So 3 times 1, 3. 3 times 2, 6. 3 times 3, 9. 3 times 4, 12. 3 times 5, 15. Our multiples for 5. 5 times 1, 5. 5 times 2, 10. 5 times 3, 15. 5 times 4, 20. 5 times 5, 25. Okay? Now that I have my list for both denominators, I'm looking for the least common. Least means smallest, common means the same or in both lists. So what number do you see in both lists? 15. And they are the smallest that I have in common. So my new denominator is going to be 15. Step 2, we're going to make a new fraction with the LCM as the denominator or least common multiple like we just did in step 1. So over here I have my new denominator, which is 15, the number we found in our list in step 1. So now I need to make my top numbers new for my new fractions. So what did I multiply 3 by to get 15? Multiply by 5. Remember what we do to the top, we do to the bottom, or what we do to the bottom, we do to the top. So I need to say 1 times 5, which gives me 5. Over here, we have 2/5. What can I multiply 5 by to give me 15? 3. What I do to the bottom, do to the top. So 2 times 3 is 6. So my new problem is 5/15 plus 6/15. Step 3, go ahead and add or subtract only the numerators. Remember, we're only going to add or subtract the top numbers, and we keep the same denominator. So 5 plus 6 will be, giving you a minute to give me an answer, 11. Okay, so after I add or subtract, my answer is 11/15. But I'm not done. Step 4, simplify by finding the greatest common factor and use it to divide. So I need to find the factors of my top and bottom number. 11, what are my factors? 1 times 11 gives me 11. Anything else? No. My factors for 15. 1 times 15. 2, no, can't use 2. 3, 3 and 5. 4, nothing times 4 gives me 15, and 5 already in my list. So these are my factors for 11, and these are my factors for 15. So just like with the least common multiple, this time I'm looking for the greatest common factor. So greatest means the biggest, and common means the same. What number is in both lists? The only number I have in both lists is 1. So that means it's already in simplest form. You're done simplifying when the only common factor is 1. So that means I'll stay the same, and 11 over 15 is my final answer. Okay? So let's go back and talk through what happened. So step 1, I start off with my problem, 1 over 3 plus 2 over 5. My denominators were different, so I had to change them by first finding a new denominator by looking at the multiples for each denominator. 15 were my smallest and the only thing that they had in common. So I made my new fraction. My new denominators were 15. So in order to get a new numerator, I had to multiply by a number that gave me 15 for the bottom. So 3 times 5 gave me 15. What I do to the bottom, do to the top. So 1 times 5 gave me 5. The next fraction, 5 times what gives me 15? 5 times 3 gave me 15. What I do to the bottom, do to the top. So 2 times 3 gave me 6. Then I was ready to add only the numerators. So 5 plus 6, 11, and your denominators stay the same, 11 over 15. Then I had to make sure it was in simplest form. Remember, simplest form means the smallest. So I take my factors for 11 and I list my factors for 15. So my factors for 11, 1 and 11, those are the only things I can multiply together to get 11. 15, 1 times 15 gives me 15, and 3 times 5 gives me 15. Remember, factors are the numbers you multiply together to get a number. The only thing that were in both lists was the number 1. So I'm done simplifying when the only thing they have in common is 1. So 11 over 15 is my final answer. All right, I have some practice problems for you here. What I want you to do is press pause and write these problems down and work them out. If you want to work them out with a parent or a sibling or somebody, go ahead and try to do that on your own. And when you finish, you can press play and see how I work them out. But please do it, try it by yourself first before you continue the video. So now that you have finished working them out yourself, so let's go through them together. 2 over 3 plus 1 over 6. My denominators are different, so I need to change them. My multiples of 3 are 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 3 is 9. Your multiples for 6. 6 times 1 is 6, 6 times 2 is 12, 6 times 3 is 18. I want the least common. They both have the number 6, and that's the smallest that they have in common. So my new denominator is going to be 6. Will be 6. So, all right, 3 times what gives me 6? 2. So what I do to the bottom, I do to the top. 2 times 2 is 4. 6 times what gave me 6? 6 times 1. So really this fraction stayed the same because the denominator that I used was already in place. So I didn't have to do anything to 1/6. Now I'm ready to add. 4 plus 1 is 5 over 6. Check and see if it's in simplest form. My factors for 5 are 1 and 5. Factors for 6, 1 times 6, 2 times 3. And the only thing they have in common is the number 1. So my final answer is 5 over 6. So that is your answer for number 1. Okay, let's check number 2. 12 over 4 plus 8 over 7. All right, my denominators are 4 and 7, so I cannot add yet. I need to make them the same. So my multiples for 4. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. Sorry. Let me erase that 1. All right, 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 5 is 20. Let's check 7. 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 2 is 14. 7 times 3, 21. 7 times 4, 24. 7 times 5, oh, not 24. 7 times 5 is 35. 7 times 4 is 28. Sorry. Okay. Let's keep going on 4. 4 stopped at 4 times 5. 4 times 6, 24. 4 times 7, 28. All right, so let's look at our list. And the only thing that they have in common is going to be 28. So our new denominator will be 28. Okay, so 4 times what gives me 28? 4 times 7. What I do to the bottom, do to the top. So 12 times 7 be 84. Okay, 7 times what gave me 28? 7 times 4. So 8 times 4 is 32. So 84 plus 32 is going to be 116 over 28. Okay. All right, now what's wrong with this fraction? The top is too big. So we do what to fix it? Divide. So 116 divided by 28. Remember to write what you say. So when you don't know, go to the side and what? Multiply. So 28 times, let's start with 4. 32, 8, 9, 10, 11. And I'm thinking that's the closest we're going to get. 28 times 5. But remember, always double check, go farther so you can make sure that that's your answer. 8 times 5 is 40. 0 carry the 4. 10 plus 4 is 14. Too much. Okay? So we're going to use 4. 28 goes into 116 4 times. Remember to write your answer up above the last digit that you used. So 116 minus 112. 5, 4. And those are zeros. If you need to fill in zeros so you know that nothing's there, you can, or you can leave it blank. So our remainder is 4. Remember, your remainder becomes your numerator, and your denominator stays the same. So our answer, 4 and 4 over 28. But we still need to check and see if we can simplify. So 4 goes into 28. What are your factors for 4? 1, 2, and 4. Factors for 28. 1, 28, 2, and 14, and 7 and 4. So the greatest thing that they have in common is the number 4. So we're going to divide top and bottom by 4. Let's clear this off so you can see. So divide my top by 4, divide my bottom by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 28 divided by 4 is 7. And don't forget about your whole number, 4 and 1/7 for number 2. Okay?